welcome to another episode of Living Too Late. My name is Ollie Smith. Over there is my studio mate, Mark Elliott Smith. Hello, Mark. Oh, he started already. Mark.
Hello.
How the hell are you?
I think I'm all right.
Today we're talking about the top 20 things artists should avoid without it getting too negative.
Yeah.
We're just going to say
in a really helpful
avoid.
Yeah. Now this is more about diverting people into the way that into the light, into the way that works, you know.
And we need to get into the light ourselves a little bit. I think this was, for me, it was like I know all of these things and I'm still a bit stuck. You know, anyway, we thought it'd be interesting to come up with a list. Mark, you've got 10 things.
Yeah.
Or 9, 1 pending.
Yeah.
And I've got 10.
Uh-huh.
And we've sort of come at this from two different points of view. You've gone more, what would you say? Humanistic. And I've gone more practicalistic.
Yes, practicalistic. Yeah, I guess.
Is that a word?
Practicalistic. Probably.
Practical.
Yeah. I mean, that's... You know.
Practicalistic. We just made up a word, people. I think that's great. So, before we get started, what were we talking about earlier? Oh, yeah. What are you drinking there?
Oh, yeah, I'm drinking plum porter. It's by the label is Titanic Brewery.
Yeah.
So they make the this particular ale, and they also do...
it's an ale.
Oh, I thought they did another one. Oh, no. Well, they make this one anyway.
Yeah.
So it's lovely, yeah. Fruity red deep.
I've sort of gone a bit sort of potlatch on the old ales in Sainsbury's, and I'm drinking Badger Master Stout.
Ah.
I'll just say that into the mic. Master Stout.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise it's made with coffee.
Yeah. So if you're interested in ale... Then
ale and art,
yeah,
you see, it's ale and art.
A&A,
A&A, the AA.
Yes.
So before we get too sidetracked, why don't you read us your first avoidance?
My number one helpful avoidance tip is: do not try to fit in to please others.
Oh yeah,
never
I like that.
conform to anyone else's expectations.
Yeah. I don't think it's... I said this earlier.
Pretty self-explanatory, really, isn't it? I don't need to...
I don't think it's in my nature to conform and fit in to please others.
No. And, well, like I briefly said earlier, I've never fit in anyway.
Yeah, anywhere.
Anywhere, or, you know, at any time, you know. Hence why I...
Not even art college?
Yeah. Obviously, that was different.
That's an exemption because normally
you're with other people.
Art students are a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly, different. It's a place for different people, which is excellent. In
a good way.
In a really good way. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need more. We need more.
More people that don't fit in or don't want to.
Don't conform.
Don't conform or can't conform for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Thanks.
I'm going to read now. My turn. Avoid a poorly written personal statement. Find someone better than you at writing and get them to help you. Plus, don't use third person for a personal statement. That's just my person. That's like one of the things bringing from my experience.
Yeah,
it's just I don't like the third person for a personal artist statement.
No, don't.
Make sure it's well written. When was the last time you had a look at your personal statement, Mark?
Quite recently, actually. Maybe a month ago or something.
Yeah,
and I adjusted it then. Yeah.
Actually, I mean, we were saying we had sort of had. This is the second time we've had this conversation, but the personal statement needs to be re-looked at every now and then.
Yeah.
Don't leave it a year or two Or try to revisit it at least once a year.
Yeah, maybe once a year.
Once a year. Don't
roughly around that time.
Don't change it too often.
No.
Okay, go ahead. Next one.
Number 2 is don't let your ego get the better of you. It's nothing worse than a pretentious artist.
Nothing worse than a pretentious anything.
No.
Oh, but pretentious artists are
to be avoided.
To be avoided. Well, they're to be avoided as well as avoid becoming one.
Yeah, unless they're happy to unless they're happy to network you in to someone that could be of use to you.
No, you're going down the wrong path.
Okay,
there,
we'll just forget.
That's just dangerous.
Yeah,
I mean, then you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, well, no one wants that.
No, we don't want
that's another one to avoid. But
don't be
anyway.
hypocritical. It's endless, the avoidance list, really, isn't it? It's endless. Yeah. I'm back with another practical one. Avoid poorly taken photographs of your work. If you can invest in a good camera, a real camera,
yeah.
Photograph in daylight, potentially.
Yep.
Or buy some good studio lights that give you natural daylight.
Yep. I agree. I use a proper camera, a proper digital camera, and then I photograph them outside when the weather conditions are just perfect. If
you can't afford a camera, a good camera, then a phone camera is pretty good.
A phone camera, sometimes
it can be good.
Can be good. I mean, obviously I take pictures like that on Instagram and that sort of thing. That's fine. But for my own personal website or for competitions, I'll use a proper digital camera.
And if you're trying to promote your work on a sales platform, then you need the best possible photograph, especially if you're applying to competitions and things like that. You need a good picture of your work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add... Can I add? I'm going to add to this avoidance. Avoid using special colouring and lighting techniques in photo editing software to make your paintings look better.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Avoid it.
Because this was a thing for a while that you would take a picture, someone would take a picture of their work, take it into Photoshop or some digital photographic editing software and tweak it until it didn't really look like they're painting anymore. It looked much better. Like, play around with the contrast and the levels and the saturation, and then suddenly they've got a really nice painting and it's like, hang on a minute, your photograph work looks better than the bloody painting.
Yeah, that's funny.
Don't do that. Avoid it.
No, it's interesting. Actually, with my work, no matter how well I get the work photographed, whether that's a naturally just if it naturally looks great just as it is as a picture, or if it's been tweaked, still not near as good as the real work in life. And that's just something I've noticed about my paintings. But you'd have to do your best.
Mark, give us your next avoidance.
My third point is be honest. Don't pretend to be a great salesman.
Why are you reading it like that?
I didn't know. I just kind of... I felt like I was channeling someone else there for a minute.
It felt like something else was going on. Yeah. Go on. Carry on. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. Don't pretend to be a great salesman to make yourself appear successful, especially if it's killing your creative will. It's not worth it. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. So, you see a lot of this on Instagram and that kind of thing. And
I'm a bit.
You can get carried away with it.
Oblivious to it, really.
You can get carried away with trying to sell your work. I mean, if you're someone that has trouble selling their work, then don't pretend that you're doing, that you're great at selling your work, it's best to be honest. It will make your work appear stronger.
Yeah, but then you get people that are not honest, and they're just like gaming the system of business mindedness and going, oh, combine business with creativity and you're unstoppable.
You just ignore it. Well, that's it. That's exactly what should be avoided here on this point. Yeah.
Because you really, I mean, but if you're really not very good at art, then maybe that's all you need. You know what I mean? Because then if you're really, really, because the people that sound like that, generally their work is not very deep.
It's not that great.
It's not very deep. It's very shallow.
Yeah.
Very not. It's just not very good. Anyway.
Or very, very.
Shall we move on?
Not amateur.
Amateurish.
But well, it can be amateur, but mediocre.
Mediocre work. Yeah. I totally agree.
Goodbye to blah. No, we don't want that.
Okay, my number 3. Never scrimp on art materials. Buy the best quality you can afford, even if it's only a little bit. Cheap materials generally look cheap. Can I just show you a pot of a new pot of paint I've bought?
Let's look at this magic paint.
Look how small it is.
Oh,
it's tiny.
It's small.
But that's all I can afford.
Well, what could you paint with that? You could paint a money box with that. You could paint...
You can paint your fingernail.
You could paint your fingernails probably
once or twice.
You could paint... what do you call those things you used to take Wellington boots on and off with? Like a shoe removal.
Shoehorn.
Shoehorn. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You could paint a shoehorn with it,
What are you talking about, Mark? Jesus Christ. I mean, but the point is... This small little pot of paint is actually quite expensive. I mean, maybe a tenner.
Yeah.
Not even.
It's
but
a lot of money for...
A tenner.
For something that's,
maybe some of our listeners, watchers, don't understand what a tenner is.
A tenner?
£10 note.
Oh, right, yeah.
Anyway, cheap materials generally look cheap. I mean, you buy... high quality paint. If we're talking about paint, you want to buy paint that is at least it's a term that's gone around for a long time, is light fast colours, right?
Yeah.
Colours, paint, pigment that doesn't degrade over time in sunlight.
Yeah.
Light fast colours.
So whoever thinks your work is incredible, they've hung it on the wall, but obviously it's a bright room, sun passes across that wall often. You don't need to worry.
Protect it. You don't need to protect it.
Yeah, don't need to protect it. It will last in that light.
It's not permanent. It's not like 100% permanent. Over
a long time,
decades and decades and decades, it probably wouldn't change much.
Well, it says like 100 plus.
Is it 100 plus? Yeah. There you go. It's pretty long. Let's move on. Next.
Yeah. So, keep. Sorry, that is the one, isn't it? Keep true to your unique brand or style of work. Don't create safe work that some people may prefer or that may or may not sell easier.
It's just, the sentence, I find it hard to maintain concentration on that sentence.
I know what you're saying, and I had to really think hard about it to understand that.
Don't create safe work that some people may prefer.
Yeah.
Or that
may
not sell easier.
Yeah.
I think the problem is you put the may not.
Maybe I put the words in not quite the right order there.
I think you should just say, don't. Oh, your watch has gone off.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Mark.
8 o'clock. Yeah.
I think what you should say is like, don't. Don't sacrifice for an easy sale. Don't sacrifice your brand or your style of working just to get an easier sale. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, if you're doing a particular kind of work and you go, oh, do you know what's in? Paintings of streets in the rain with wet pavements and sidewalk with reflections and lights.
Yeah.
And it's all rainy and looks so beautiful. Now I'm going to do that to my painting so it can sell it and make some money because I don't want to do a real job.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's like painting people's animals and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we should avoid that.
Yeah. Right?
Right,
it's being true to your authentic self. I think that's the thing. That's why. That's why it's not too important to have your own vision, because at the end of the day, anyone who practices can paint dogs and cats.
Yeah, I mean, also I've got a bit of a hang up with people that are just technically good at painting.
Oh yeah.
And they just pick out something. They go, I'm going to pick the casino elements and throw them up on it on a table.
Yeah.
Make a little
tower,
still life.
All right. Yeah.
Tower of like dice and chips and then we'll photograph that. And then I'm going to paint it really, really well.
Yeah, I know the sort of thing.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, you're only getting anywhere with your work because it's technically good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not really got anything else to offer.
No real depth or intelligence in it.
No, but there's probably depth and intelligence attributed to it because they're number one on your list. Number two, the pretentious artist.
Yeah.
Because they're probably very good at talking about it and selling it. But ultimately, it's just because I'm jealous. Because technically, I can't paint that well.
Okay, I'm not jealous, but it's. I know it's because I've made the right decision. Yes.
Anyway, let me know if you want to open your final beer. I'm on to the Guinness Original.
Oh, is that your second one? All right.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to number 4. Don't invest lots of money on a website and paid advertising. Both can be achieved without breaking the bank. You can. There's plenty of platforms you can invest in to make your website if you want a website. But do you know what? You can hold off on a website. Do you know what? I think really you can survive on social media these days. I don't think you need.
Probably. I mean, I think it's good to have a website just so it's something.
Is it? I've always had a website. It's never done me any good.
No, it's not done. Well, from what I'm aware of, it's not really done me anything. But then it depends, I guess, on.
I think it's an expense, and it's an unnecessary expense unless you've started selling your work and it's selling regularly,
and it's
and
a
you've
good
got
place.
an audience.
Yeah, and it's also good just to have a well presented sort of a portfolio, I guess, if your work on there. I mean, it might look good for if you get in touch with a gallery or something like that eventually, and and then they see as long as it's a good website and not a tackily
produce
not
one,
very well done one, then but it's surprising what you can do using some free or cheap website builders. You can make some quite nice websites.
Yeah. I mean, WordPress has got some free templates that you can use. Yeah, it's fairly idiot proof. What's your 5th avoidance, Mark?
Right. Okay, number 5. Okay, so what I've written here is never agree to be exhibited for a large fee. It's a con. Your work is actually worth a lot more than what they're offering. And it requires more respect and distinction than what they can offer by saying, you can have your work exhibited in this space for this long, and you'll have these people come and see your work and blah blah blah, and then you look at what they obviously are charging, and it's like however many £1,000 for a
but a lot of art, a lot of art fairs are doing that, right?
Art fairs, yeah. But there's, I mean, I was thinking more about galleries, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's where you can you don't want to get.
So the gallery says oh yeah, we like your work.
Yeah.
We'd like you to exhibit it here.
Yeah.
But you need to pay £3,000.
Because basically, that's just a vanity exhibition, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
probably not going to do much.
It doesn't.
I
do
can't
much.
tell you how many. I mean,
or anything actually, because they've got no
Just do-
initiative to sell your work.
I've got a little experiment for you.
That's the thing.
The next time any of you are around in a gallery anywhere, any country, any city, just look how busy it is. Unless it's kind of like a major tourist trap, like Tate Modern or something like that, where people go there just because it's so huge. But like small independent galleries, go anywhere in the world, any city, just go in there. There's you and one other person in there at any given time. It's just not busy enough. It's
No.
not busy enough. Most galleries are quiet most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I look back and I can probably remember the last 5-6 galleries I went in,
Yeah.
and all of them were empty.
I think that's sad, though.
Isn't it?
I think that's desperately sad.
What number are we on? 5?
Yeah. I think it needs to change at some point.
Okay. This is a bit controversial, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is. Let me read it and then I'll explain. Avoid asking ridiculous figures for your work. That means avoid asking for ridiculous amounts of money for your work if you are a completely unknown artist. Start with smaller artworks at a
Yeah.
lower price point.
I would say that's quite logical.
Yeah, I
Quite a
mean, if
sensible
you
thing to do. Yeah.
if you've not, I mean, even if you've been making work for a while
Mm.
and it's not very well developed,
Yeah.
and then going, well, I spent a long time on that artwork and it's this big, so I'm going to ask for this much money.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna. It's not gonna work out.
No.
It's
I
not
don't
going to
think
work
so.
out, and
Especially not in this climate. Financial
well,
climate
yeah, these days
at the moment.
definitely
yeah.
not.
Maybe
But-
in very prosperous times, it would be different. But
Yeah.
we're still waiting for that day. If it ever happens.
Yeah. So we're halfway through, Mark. And I just want you to take a quick look in that camera.
It's
Hello.
death staring at you when you look at a camera.
Oh, we cut it off. It's like death.
Yeah,
Staring
I heard
at
it
you.
talking there.
Yeah, it kind of cut it off. Shall I play it again?
It's like death staring at you when you look at a camera.
Oh yeah.
So who said that?
That's my Herzog quote.
Ah,
Yeah,
That's not
film
even-
director.
sounds a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger, doesn't he? Don't you
He's
think?
got it's German accent. It's like death.
Sounds like a Terminator.
Yeah, it's like death. Hit us with your number 6 avoidance there, Mark.
Oh yeah, so this is a good one. Don't give up too early. So too early, in my opinion, that's one human life. Unless you've got absolutely no other choice, and you've got to give up for whatever reason. If it's a really good reason, maybe, but maybe it's always something you can come back to as well. So it goes on. It says if your work is vital, keep going. Even if no one is buying your work, don't resort to despair. You have a great gift. Never believe your efforts are worthless. It is better to continue making art than just stopping and going back to night shifts at Tesco's.
Did you do night shifts at Tesco's?
Not at Tesco's, but I did do night shifts, and I hated it.
Oh yeah, I did night shifts.
Absolutely dreaded it, and I didn't last long.
No, I did night shifts in a factory, and
It
and
did
it
me
was
no good
awful,
whatsoever.
awful.
It was the thing is,
most horrendous work ever.
yeah,
doing a night shift.
and what are you actually achieving for yourself and
Absolutely
for society?
nothing. Absolutely
overall? How is that moving culture forward in any direction? How is that actually doing anything for the country? It's doing nothing at all. It's better to be doing something of real value and effort, which is doing some good quality artwork.
Yeah, agreed. I think, let's.
So that's
that.
I feel quite strongly about that.
Yeah, I can tell. So my number 6 is don't be scared to approach galleries. Find where you fit in and keep them updated when you do new work. It's something I don't do. Because I'm just really bad at this.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists aren't very good at doing this.
But it's something I know that I need to do, and I just still don't do it.
Actually, the last point there, keeping them updated when you do new work, that's a good reminder.
Oh yeah,
for me, because it's easy to just, maybe show with a gallery once somewhere if you're lucky, and then you go away, and
you expect them to chase you or something.
No, you just get into thinking about, well, what can I do now? Well, I've got to create some more work, kind of thing,
Right.
And then you forget.
You forget that you should update them.
Yeah. And
very good.
If they've already shown your work, then they're not going to be like, they're not going to shoo you away saying, "Oh, how dare you get back in touch, showing me yours."
No.
So that's ridiculous, isn't it? So that's a good point.
Carry on, Mark. Your next one.
Okay, number 7. Oh yeah, never downplay your art. Being humble is good, but being too humble will make you look weak and a fool to others and yourself.
Oh, okay. Being humble is good. Being too humble will make you look weak.
Yeah, I think being humble is good in the sense that the extreme opposite is the point right at the beginning is being pretentious. So you don't want to be like that. You want to remain. You want to have that because if you start believing that you're incredible at selling your work or producing great work, and then for whatever reason it stops selling well, or people lose interest, then that's just flushed your reputation down the toilet.
I'm notorious for putting myself down. I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I must admit, especially if you're making great work and no one really knows. I mean, that's the hardest thing. I know all about that. So anyway, but being too humble will make you look weak, and you've got to have some certain amount of confidence, I guess, about yourself and your work, and actually a real quite a decent amount of confidence about it. And then other galleries.
It's a balance. It's like a balancing act. You gotta be humble but confident.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's tricky.
Very. Yeah.
All right, I'm moving on. So my next avoidance is I'm gone back to the practical thing again. Avoid using and including copyrighted imagery in your art. In some cases, it would be tough to avoid a lawsuit if the work sold for lots of money in the future.
Yeah.
So I see lots of artists using copyrighted imagery, and that can be a painting of a photograph which is copyrighted, which was taken by a photographer of somebody beautiful, model, celebrity, who knows. And there's that famous case which it went on for years and years, didn't it? The Andy Warhol case where he used a photograph of somebody famous. Was it Prince?
It might have been Prince.
It was. Yeah. We did a podcast on it. Prince of Prince.
Yes. Yeah. I think
Prince
I remember that now.
Prince.
Yeah.
And that only just concluded with Warhol being found liable to pay the photographer for usage of his. So he got all the money.
Yeah.
He got all the money for the painting that it was sold for, millions.
Wow.
Yeah. He got all that money. The photographer did, because he didn't have a right to use it.
No
so
way.
any money that he made on it belonged to the artist.
Illegal then, isn't it?
Belonged to the photographer.
Yeah. Is that not illegal?
It's illegal to do that. Yeah. So you need you either need permission, or you need to recreate the photograph with your own
take on it.
But the photograph needs to be your original photograph. It can't be. You can recreate it with your own model.
Yeah.
But you cannot use someone else's work and then make money from it.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Oh yeah. Number 8. Don't compare yourself. My number 8.
Yep.
Don't compare yourself with other artists. People are successful in different ways. So yeah, I think that's another really good, strong point. That obviously you see artists, Instagram or whatever, they seem like they're doing.
Our last podcast was about snobbery.
Yeah.
So that would be the most snobbery thing to do, wouldn't it? But to compare yourself, I'm just like.
Yeah. I know.
I'm just like that person, but then. You
don't even secretly compare yourself with other artists either, because it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
It will totally upset your mind balance. It's no good.
No good.
No.
My number 8. So I've gone over to your side a little bit there, Mark. Avoid isolating yourself too much. Staying sociable is good.
Yeah.
Get yourself out and about and see what art is going on around you, or further afield.
Yeah.
Because as artists, I think a lot of artists spend a lot of time on their own. In their studios making their work.
Yeah, including me.
And we don't go out very much. When was the last time you went out to see some art?
To see art? When was that?
Or be sociable. It was like 3 weeks. Was it 3 weeks ago?
At
you and
Raven.
Me? We went to the pub to do an art group thing.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah.
But it turned into a bit of a boozy thing for me, and then I got quite hungover on that. Yeah. Anyway.
It was good though. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
So avoid isolating.
Too much. Yeah.
Too much.
Too much.
Sorry, that sounded horrible. Too much. Sorry. Fine. Sorry. So sorry. Speaking like that into the mic. Number 9, we're almost done.
Yes.
We're closing in on the end.
Closing in now. So, avoid being too helpful to other people or other artists. I forget the to other people bit.
Let's keep because
avoid being too helpful to other artists.
Yeah.
Sadly, some artists will take advantage of you if you do. Yeah.
I've never had anyone take advantage of me, but it's probably because I've only really kept myself to myself and only done things with people that I kind of trust more. So we've had exhibitions together.
Sorry, that came out of nowhere just then.
That's all right. You're right, Mark.
Oh yeah, fine. Yeah. I think I swallowed a fly. We've done things together, but I've not done like exhibitions with anyone else, except for someone else in the studio that we have. But even then, I wasn't too happy about the result of exhibiting with in the studio. And then what happened was, he's having discussions with another member of the studios, and then they decide to open up their studio, which is in the gallery space, invite people in to look at their work. I mean, my God. Well, that's kind of an example of.
That's why you need to be careful.
You do
who you exhibit with.
You do, and
that was definitely an arrangement between them.
In fact, I would rephrase that whole last thing and just say you just said then, which is just be careful who you
Just be careful.
exhibit
with
or
who-
work with, you know.
Because it's, I mean, yes, it's it should be an understanding
Yeah.
of mutual
Exactly.
respect.
If you've got that understanding, mutual respect, then that's a good thing, and
Yes.
that's what you should be looking for.
But then it's almost like agreeing to exhibit with someone, and then one of the hardest things and most annoying things about taking an exhibition out into the public space is having to do your own invigilation,
oh yeah,
which
yeah.
is sitting down in the space
It's
and
pretty dull.
observing it and
Yeah.
talking
And-
to people when they walk in,
Yeah. And you don't get paid either.
and you don't get paid for it unless you sell work.
Isn't that mad?
And
Because surely that would, you'd think in these times that would class as work, especially if it's in a shop, even if it's an empty shop, pop-up place or whatever.
yeah,
Surely there would be a case to make, go to the council or something, write in a form, say, I'm down this week to do this much invigilating in a shop. It's work. I need to be paid. You'd
Mm.
think, you know? So, I
yeah.
thought I'd put that out there.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So I was going to continue by saying that it's almost like you get to the invigilating and the person you're exhibiting with says, oh, I haven't got time for that. I need to work. Go to work. And then you do all the invigilating. you know, you've got to have an agreement, and it needs to be fair.
It does need to be fair.
So
yeah,
my
exactly.
my number 9 is don't be too critical of other artists and their work. We're all at different stages of development, unless it's performance art, because who likes that?
Oh dear.
Joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
No,
I
no,
like a
no,
bit
I'm
of
joking.
performance art.
no. I'm joking.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
put it in there. You can see. I put in brackets. Joking.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah. Right in there. I put joking. Don't be too critical
Oh yeah.
of in brackets I put joking. So I don't know, like, I mean, we're all hypercritical about everything these days, and I just thought I'll write that down as an avoidance. Avoid being too critical of other people's work.
Yeah.
Unless it's really bad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then
Or-
you can be critical.
Unless, yeah.
Should
unless,
we be... Actually, this could start a whole debate, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Should we be critical of everything?
Unless it deserves a lot of criticism.
What, for being bad?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Just for being poor,
Yeah.
you know.
But if you don't understand something, it's not right just to be super critical and go, oh, that's rubbish.
No.
And the reason, can I just explain why I chose to joke about performance art? Because I've got such a major hang-up about performance art. Because I can't... My personality is anything live that I react badly to things that happen live.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What happens?
To me,
Yeah.
I just feel super uncomfortable. Yeah,
Wow.
like if I'm watching...
What? So it actually has some sort of physical effect on you, or mental effect?
It's more of a mental effect,
Right.
but it's one I don't like.
Okay.
So
it,
it could be a stand-up comedian, it could be a performance artist. Generally not bands, but bands are up there singing their songs, and if you're going to see a band, you kind of like them. But if something is happening that's not out of the ordinary with a live, like a musical event,
yeah.
if they're just up there playing their instruments and singing their songs, fine.
Yeah.
But if
yeah.
it starts to get like weird and uncomfortable,
Yeah, I
like-
know. I know what you're talking about, actually.
and then I don't want to be there. I'm like, get me out of here.
yeah.
I don't want.
I was at a music festival recently, actually.
Yeah.
It was only for a day, and these two women in there, young women.
Not women.
And they were doing some sort of vocal singing class, I guess, and like la 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 la
warming
la,
up.
la, la. Yeah,
it's
and
enough of
all that kind of stuff, and but they were getting the audience to sort of to join
do
in
it.
and do it,
What?
and then they were like doing some sort of performance, you know,
God's sake!
you know,
Stop that!
you know, climbing on top of one another and running around inside the tent and all this stuff. And
Sounds awful.
yeah, so I promptly kind of
exited.
Yeah.
Well
Sort
done
of
for you.
Just
Yeah. So I mean, it's just
got away from that.
So that was my take on it. Okay, have you got a final one? Are you still blanked for number 10?
I'm a bit blanked for number 10. I would say.
I'm shaking my head at you, Mark.
I would say, don't worry too much.
Don't worry too much. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, because
at the end of the day,
it's incredibly difficult being an artist.
Oh God, it really, really is. I mean, some artists are more fortunate. They might come from privileged backgrounds and that sort of thing. I didn't. I came from a poor background, and I find it really tough. I live sort of. I've got no long-term solution. I've just got a little room that I rent and a house share sort of thing. So but I've deliberately invested my time in doing something I feel is worth not just my while, worth my while, but actually worth doing something that means something.
Very good.
Yeah, and so don't worry too much about what people think of that. Or about selling your work either, because if you're doing great work, whether you're privileged or not so, then one day things should come your way.
Yeah, you might win the lottery.
Yeah, one way or another.
No, I'm just kidding. So my final avoidance is another practical one. Don't pay commission on sales if you have rented space in a gallery. How have I written that? If you have rented space in a gallery, I've written that very badly.
No, that's okay.
Free gallery space usually charges, the gallery will charge you a percentage on all the art sold. Spaces you rent should not charge you. And that is not always the case. Some places you pay to rent to show an exhibition there, and they charge you commission on all the sales. That is insane.
What a rip-off, eh?
That's
not good.
That is
you don't want to fall
rip-off.
into that trap.
So some places might have justified it to themselves that they need to do that to stay open. Yeah. Well, if that's what you need to do by exploiting the artists that go in your space, then you need to find another job.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm done.
I would agree. Yeah, and on that note, I'm done. No, on this note, I'm done.
Oh, he's done it again. He's done it again.
Rounds it up perfectly.
Oh. Anyway, so that's our top 20 things every artist should avoid, wrapped up nice and neat in a little bundle of 43 minutes and 8 seconds. That's
really good.
We're still counting.
Pretty blooming good.
Pretty blooming good.
Blooming good.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us for our top 20. I know it was a bit longer than you might have thought, but it's
not too bad.
I mean, we'll be back with more top tips and maybe some art news next time. I don't know, we haven't got any art news this time.
It'll be a top something anyway.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, listening to us, watching us. Please subscribe and like and follow.
Yep, the button's right here.
And share somewhere down there. There.
I thought it was there.
I don't know where it is. But that's it for another episode of Living Too Late. Join us in the next episode for more art talk.
Yes. Look forward to seeing you then, guys.
Thank you very much. What was that snort right at the end? Oh dear, Mark.
Maybe I should...